At a young age, I taught hand-to-hand combat to military police officers, SOCOM Navy SEALs, to just the Navy, to the Marines, to MARSOC, to Green Berets, to any military organization that you want to go to. I've been there, done that, and I've trained with French and I've trained with British. Yeah. So my explanation to you guys is, my job is to teach cops how to disarm a suspect legally without hurting them if they have a weapon. If they have a gun, how do you disarm them? Well, I am in an academy of hand-to-hand combat. We might have to resort to a weapon. We might, if that person decides to use that weapon, not just because that person pulled the weapon. 90% of the time that person pulls the weapon because they don't want to kill anybody and they just want to save their own ass too. Okay, so now that leaves you in a percentage where 100% of the time when somebody pulls a gun, or if they don't, you get to shoot them. No. If that motherfucker has pulled the gun, disarm them. If you can't disarm them and you get shot, oh fucking well. I'm not sitting here as your nation's provider to give you bulletproof vests that you won't use. You guys will use the taser, you guys will use the gun, you guys will use the mace, you guys will use the cuffs, you guys will use anything but your common sense and everything that I taught you in hand-to-hand combat. That is completely fucking wrong. Those bulletproof vests better be fucking used. I don't want to see any suspect brought in, fucking shot, or anything like that. Like, well, I shot him first. This ain't a draw, motherfucker. That's why you have a bulletproof vest. Okay, yeah, you might take a fucking wound to the leg, and you might get shot in the fucking head. Probably because you ain't using your common sense. We don't know whether that person pulling the gun on you is right or wrong yet. He is innocent until proven guilty. Therefore, you can't technically shoot at him because you might be the pursuer and the kidnapper. You getting shot is completely fucking liable. Just like within the last case, I had to get into a fight with over 20 fucking police officers. I assaulted over 20 police officers, and then they tried to put resisting arrest on me. I was assaulted first, through the motherfucker, choked out one of the motherfuckers, took two of the motherfuckers down into my guard, and then used my half guard on my legs to take control of four other officers. And I'm doing that because I'm trying to use them as double-walled bulletproof vests. Because the next thing I know that they're going to do is they're going to try to shoot me, or they're going to try to taser me. If I'm teaching you hand-to-hand combat, why do you need a taser, bro? I know in certain circumstances, if you're getting your fucking ass beat that bad, then yeah, but as a first resort, no. Last resort. Your first resort are these. It's always these. Even if the motherfucker has one of these. And I got in trouble by the police officers for disarming a woman that had a weapon and another motherfucker with her. I disarmed the weapon and completely put her into cuffs unharmed. I didn't get hit with the weapon. Nothing happened to me with the weapon at all. Okay? It is completely 100% possible. Especially if you know what the fuck you're doing. I don't give a fuck if you have to spend your own money fucking learning from me to do it. But I'm not doing it. I've always volunteered my time to do it. I have always volunteered my time to do it. Whether it came to fucking cooking for veterans, teaching children to adults to military to anybody on how to shoot, on anything on demolitions, on anything on hand-to-hand combat, on any of those topics, okay? There's a first come, first served basis, okay? Your first term, first basis as a police officer is that you have given up rights. You don't technically have constitutional rights. You have lost your right to self-defense because you might be chasing somebody that is not the actual fucking problem. They might be a victim. They just escaped a kidnapping of a motherfucker that is dressed as a cop, and then now I got cops chasing me. You're damn right I'm gonna shoot you, okay? You might not understand where my headspace is at, but you You being the one not wanting to understand where my headspace is at and wanting to not believe me, what causes me to shoot you. Because you look at like a fucking psychotic motherfucker that is in denial, and your only justification is to murder and revenge for something that was never even a cause of a Second Amendment right. The only reason it's a cause of a Second Amendment right is because of something that I did in self-defense to get the fuck away. All charges dropped. I'm able to assault fucking over 20 police officers, and I walk out of there the next day. I don't even got to see the judge. The fucking charges are completely dropped. Do I get any money for it? Shit, probably, of course not. Do I even give a fuck about money? No, bro. But I don't believe in slavery either. I feel the ones that are able to volunteer their time to be able to make the fucking economy work should be sitting there doing that. We shouldn't be wasting their times having them hand out old food. Okay, all these volunteers that we have are misplaced in society. There's a time and place for it all. Nobody ever wants to listen to me because I look like such a young-minded kid. How could I be such a young-minded kid when I'm taught by the elderly and the future? I'm obviously going to have some kind of intelligence that you don't have, along with my next generation below me. Whether I learn from their stupidity or their smartness, I don't know yet. Because the generation before me, I had to learn from their stupidity. But the generation before them, I had to learn from their intelligence. I told them this was going to happen. And then it's like, well, sometimes you fall into a warp. Well, that's what the government wants to happen. And that's where we have fallen. Now, do we have a lot of Nazis in American society? Yes, we have over 2,000 Nazi organizations that are not in the prison system. Then we have God knows how many prisons that are controlled by Nazis. Now, a lot of these Nazis, 90% of them are just white guys that are just fucking terrified of what the white guy is brainwashing them with because of what the black guy is going to do to them, supposedly. You know, shit. It gets all mixed up and intangulated, but they're left with no option, so they're going to be an enemy. So I got to use an enemy maybe less superior to them just to get them out. But they're mentally unstable now at that point, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I have to kill them. And unfortunately, that is the least way to suffer if you can't fucking mentally get over your own problems. It's just like the mental place here in America. I'm telling you, we have over 2,000 Nazi organizations that we know of. Then we have the prison systems that are ran with Nazisms as prisoners, but they go back into being officers.
So does it say how many wrote?
I estimate it to be at least 5 to 20 million people. Okay? And I suggest that's just the people that know that what they're doing. There's 90% that don't understand. So, probably close to 100 million Nazis sitting here in America like, yay, we live with freedom. I don't understand how they're living with freedom and living with freedom after what they just caused. I mean, we didn't even let the Confederates stay here. We kicked them out. That's why you don't see those motherfuckers around here. I mean, you might see some kind of fucking, broke, wooden fucking petrified ass looking motherfucker straight out the fucking rocks in the grounds talking about, look at what I found. Yeah, my 13 original colonies. I'm not ashamed of that flag. That's my 13 original colonies as tribes, not as the American states. I recognize that for what it truly is. That's a recognition of what they tried to overtake and claim as American. Okay? Americans were not the first ones to involve slavery here. They weren't even the first ones to involve slavery. Indians weren't fucking slaving Indians this whole entire time. Why do you think we always had to travel throughout the whole United States? Then you got the same shit going on in Africa, and we have to deal with that shit over in Africa, and that's where my blood mixes here. I mean, it's all just bullshit, and it's all logical at the same time. But we have to know geographically and economically where those standpoints of religions really exist at this point in time. Because the Bible is written in a time period. It's written in a years period. Is this the year of the, just like the Chinese, this is the year of the goat? Think you gotta kind of think of a sense of that. I mean, they're pretty good at maintaining their animal quality. They kind of, it's like they know the circle of life, and they're like, is this the year of the goat where we mostly eat goat? Is this the year of the fish where we mostly eat fish? Is this, I don't know, but that kind of ideology makes more sense than just killing somebody because they decided that they're going to eat something. But it makes sense to kill somebody that's going to eat something that's going to dwindle and destroy your population. You're left with no fucking choice. Here in America, if somebody ate a dog, you're probably going to kill them. You're already mad at China for doing it. While at the same time, you eat wolves and coyotes. So it makes no fucking sense to me in all reality, because you're flip-flopping on what you think you can be legal compared to everybody else. And yeah, it kind of works like that, but you're picking and choosing. Like marijuana, that's not something that you could really pick and choose over a whole world space. You can't even depict that in a fucking city space. You can't depict that in a home base. You can't even depict that on a public land space. You can't control that. It's a voting card. Do you think marijuana should be legal? No. Well, then you don't get to smoke marijuana. I get the next one. The next one says yes. So, Bob Unknown gets to smoke weed. Now, this guy just called me up and is mad and is like, well, I didn't know you were going to let people smoke weed that voted for it. Well, that's what the vote was for. You have a chance of freedom here. Do you want to do it or not? Boom, boom, boom. I just want to make sure that somebody's not forcing you to do something you don't want to do. That's all that is. Your voter's ballot, that's all that really is. Who do you think your president is? Okay, so who do you think's helping your economy out the most? Because both presidents could do two different things. Because not Bush, but Trump was really good at fucking business organization. So you're going to have somebody in there that's great with military structure too. I'm not saying Trump don't know nothing about military structure, because I've heard about his background with like mafioso type shit. But handling somebody in a big ass military basis is a lot different than handling somebody on a business basis. Even though you've got what you would say strong arms in that business, this isn't a business of strong arms that Trump deals with, and that ends up getting you too big into a headspace. Just like with Israel. We don't know whether Israel was an occupied force of surrendered Germans that just acted like they were Jews and took over the place because majority rules. That's why Socrates exists. We don't know, okay? But that motherfucker really don't look that Jewish to me, to be honest. And we all know that a lot of the Israels went to Palestine rather than Israel. I mean, not the Israels, the Jews. A lot of the Jews went to Palestine before we went to Israel. And Israel is not a perfect country either. Nobody could be a perfect country. How can we become a perfect country with our own idiosyncrasies? How? How is that we could all work together like that? Like Iran doesn't believe in gayness, but they believe in transgenderism. I'm not gay, but I believe in being a transgender. So I don't know how that is even viewed in Iran's eyes, and they go, well, you're kind of like a mystical god, or you're a mystical devil. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm still just a human being trying to figure it out myself. That's all that is. But I know this is what I want to do with my life, but I'm not gay, so Iran probably would never give me that chance, because now it opens up the opportunity for me to actually be in a relationship with, like, say, a transgender. Because it just, how Iran looks at things is different. If you make a fucking man a transgender and you're attracted to them, that's not gay. So you have to understand where people's mindset is at. You can't tell them that they're wrong. You have to understand their mindset first before you tell them that they're wrong. Unless they start making shit up about you. Then you got to stop it right there and nip it in the bud. If they are in a fucking conversation with you and they start going off on a tangent of where they think you're at, nip it in the bud. Just like with me, I would expect the same. And I will shut up and listen. But if you're still back in the past while I'm up here in the future, I'll explain to why we got to this point. I don't know what the next point we're going to get to. We need the youth for that. Okay, but the youth read all of our textbooks, all of our history books. They take in everything plus all of the future that happened before you even realized what happened to you after you got out of school. So we have to read all of that plus what we're reading that's going on in today's age. So our mind capability, just within the sense of history, is it surpassed yours. Yours was down here and it's up here. We know a lot more about history than you do just by the sense of us having to read it. You guys might have lived through it, but we got to take tests on it and actually understand it. And then that's when I start to go, things are a little fishy here because you can't have one answer for these questions. I know the answer you're looking for. But now we're looking to work off of telepathy. And you say telepathy doesn't work. Well, it does, and if I don't use the telepathy of, well, I know what they want me to do, then you say I'm a dumbass because you say, well, you know exactly what I meant. Well, I thought telepathy didn't work. So it just leaves me in a controlled manner because there is a time and place for it, but it's recognizing that time and place. Like murder. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I mean, obviously it's going to hurt somebody. And it doesn't even matter whether the majority is hurt and the minority is unhurt. If you have a big-ass army fighting a small army and the small army's barely hurt and the big army's majority hurt, that looks like a great idea for my nation when... Even 200 years later, after fucking still fighting these wars with Americans, I only have 2,000 people within my whole tribe after they've spread us out. And yes, my tribe went back and killed regular fucking Indians that fucking believed in slavery like the Confederates did. The Confederate Americans. Now, why would we use Americans? We were in with the British and the French. That's where we live at in this part of the United States and Canada is French Canada. So we use the French to abduct corrupt American soldiers out in the Navy, and we'd send them on the back end force to fight the Confederates, and the Confederates would kill them right away. So a loss of my soldiers is basically a loss of 2 of yours because of the mind fuck that it puts on your brain when you realize, fuck, I don't know whether to shoot these guys or not because they're pulling tricks up their sleeves. And that's the only way you can fight a war. Never would I ever want to put my best moralized people on my front because that leaves my nation in a world of hell. I want to get rid of the hell. Who's everybody that really wants to live in hell? Because it's nothing negative. I mean, I don't look down on you upon it. I think we could do a lot of good from this. But if your hell is to destroy heaven, then hell doesn't exist. So how do we destroy the motherfucker that's trying to destroy hell? Well, we don't know who that person is. So if we don't know who it is, then why are we all still fucking shooting at each other and shit? Is this just based off of fucking some greedy financial means and then you want to base it back off of religion? Well, I'm pretty sure every religion talks about stop being fucking greedy. And, you know, it's the same thought process of love. Love is not always a spiritual thing. Love can be something that is demonized. It's something that could be called rape. Somebody that loves somebody too much or shows and, oh, they were so caring, that's probably going to be the first one that rapes you. The motherfucker that's always like away from you and is like, get the fuck away, and scares you like they're a stalker or some shit. No, dude, that's just a regular motherfucker trying to stay away from everybody else because they've been fucking hurt. And then you got a small majority of people that walk around and is like, don't fucking touch me, because they have been raped and they've done something about it, and you don't get in trouble when you do.